But let me talk to Professor Curran about this one. Might we be seeing the end of the days when the postie knocks at your door, or doesn't, just puts the stuff through quietly, discreetly at the front door, the way most of us would experience the postie? But maybe you're asked to sign for packages that are being delivered. Well, what about a step closer after changing the rules on how drones can be operated? I don't know how this would work, but can you imagine the skies full of the early morning post being drones, like worker bees, like drone bees? Professor Kevin Curran is here from the Ulster University. Kevin, it seems to me technically complicated. Why would you want every letter to have its own drone? It seems to be overkill technologically, but the possibilities here are tempting, and they're almost tangible. In 2020 they're talking.
It would be extreme for every letter, but like logistics, transportation takes up a huge impact on CO2 emissions, for instance. Then we have the visual disruption of trucks on the road, whatever else. So if you can get to the last mile. So actually Amazon themselves, who are one of the drone people, also Google are working on drones for deliveries, but Amazon themselves are trying to hitch rides on trucks with their drones. So it's only in the last mile the drone takes off, delivers a package, and then that saves congestion in narrow streets, whatever else. So the key...
hold on, that truck is driven 20 miles, then the drone takes off of its own volition without an operator.
Exactly.
It's programmed, is it?
It is, yeah. It's just like you have waypoints set in, and then it's able to get to the destination and return to the truck, even if the truck is going elsewhere, because they control. Amazon are becoming the DHL of the modern world. That they really have the most fantastic infrastructure for logistics. So that's just one patent that they've applied for. So here, what we have is the National Air Traffic Control Service in the UK, who've integrated with these Altitude Angels, which is a company which has integrated tracking for drones. Because now, up until now, you have to have, you couldn't go out of line of sight of your drone. So it had to, and it couldn't go within 150 meters of a densely packed building. So there was very tight rules for operating drones. But what they've done now is to try to build up a national infrastructure for drones, integrating with the actual main UK air traffic control centre, so that they would know where drones are as well.
So, as I understand, as things stand, Kevin, if you have a drone, I assume you have a drone, would you?
We had a drone, we sold it, yeah.
Oh, you got rid of your drone? Are you over drones now?
No, it's just...
Your kids are more technologically developed than the rest of the country.
It's just we didn't fancy losing a 2,000-pound drone in a lake, so we just thought the risk wasn't worth it.
But the question being, as things stand, I believe as an operator, you have to be able to see your drone in the sky physically.
You do indeed, yeah. And then that's best practice. And you're not allowed to fly over a crowded area or a rock concert coast. But people are ignoring this all the time. We've had near misses with airplanes again. So this would enable it as well to have no-fly zones around airports. And we're just moving towards regulation is what we need, because of course none of us wants to get into a plane and not feel safe. So again, and already, some of the use cases would be search and rescue missions for drones, but also blood delivery. Things where you need a very fast delivery of blood, really, and it's being used in places like Rwanda and Tasmania at the moment.
Important papers, valuable goods. Yeah. Would you trust your granny's pearls, Kevin, hung under a drone that has been strapped to the back of an HGV full of cement?
Well, I would. I mean, I would probably put insurance on the package the way I do at the moment. But
do you foresee a day genuinely when we'll wake up in the early morning and all these drone deliveries are happening all over cities, all over the country?
Absolutely. Anyone who's
really?
Absolutely. I couldn't believe how good, it's been 2 years since we had our DJI drone again, DJI are a Chinese company, which are one of the leaders, and could not believe how good it was. The way we could put waypoints in and we could fly it, we actually had up to a mile away, 2 miles, come back, and it would fall, and it would know when it was going low on charge and come back to home, and the control was fantastic. It would fly in the strongest winds, and that's old technology. They're improving all the time.
It's almost like that black and white footage out of the old Flash Gordon where the traffic was in the sky. There were no roads, but it was all going like regimented along sky channels, forward, and then it's like Star Wars stuff. You can see a day in your lifetime when our skies are full of drone deliveries.
Absolutely. If you wouldn't believe the effort that's gone into the Amazon white papers on the way they've divided up the sky and the radio frequencies. They really have thought about this. They've even thought about using street lights, cell towers, church steeples for recharging, staged recharging of drones.
But what about the peace and quiet that we enjoy, twittering birds? What about the blackbirds? I had a beautiful blackbird this morning, the peace of the Donegal morning. It was a thrill. I imagine the birds wouldn't be best pleased.
It's possible, but again, we got to see that maybe our cities will be quieter, because trucks and cars, which we just used to, we've accepted.
But you'll still need cement lorries. Drones are not going to develop or deliver 35 ton of of plants.
I mean, there is, and and there's a lot of things as well. We got to worry about kids going near a drone because these quadcopters do have rotating blades at a high speed. Again,
but the principle of that is no different than a helicopter. Rotating blades physically lifting you. Do you see a day when people, Professor Curran will join us, his drone arrives in 20 minutes, that you've physically been lifted from McGee to Donaghmana for the special seminar? Do you see a day physically when humans are lifted from A to B, like a helicopter only with a drone?
Exactly.
What's the difference with a drone and a helicopter? Nothing really.
Yeah, I mean, it's on a smaller scale, really, that's all. Yeah, I mean, and generally drones, most ones we refer to are really quadcopters. Again, one of the cool innovations at Mobile World Congress last week was Huawei have this drone which transports people. And there's others who are doing it as well. And really, that they actually are in the Dubai and in the United Arab Emirates. They have.
But Kevin, there's perfect events, and I've been to public events where those guys have a go at it. And the early drones were like flying along the city at head height, and then people got concerned with health and safety and all the rest. But these big public events, golf events, sports events, remembrance events, poignant events, commemoration events, sky full of, I don't know, people would want that.
Yeah, but commercial, people are getting, the packages delivered quicker, getting them faster. It's always the people would just go for whatever gives them the higher satisfaction in life, even at the cost of.
You pay your money, you take your chances.
Yeah, no, I do fully believe that. We couldn't have imagined this even 10 years ago, but just the technology has improved so much in the accuracy and just the capabilities, even within.
So 2020, Amazon might have a deal with the air traffic control authorities to have drones going out of the line of sight 5, 7, 50 miles by 2020?
Yeah, I mean, even next year, 2019, we should see, but I don't think we'll see 50-mile ranges because at the moment, the Amazon drones generally are limited to about 5 pounds package weights. Anything larger would require a bigger battery and hence a
head
larger
of the out of sight. The air traffic controls head of drones. Andy Sage, so he should know what he's talking about, don't I? It's about being able to transmit a drone's location or intended flight path to allow it to be seen. It would be a critical component of moving it away from the line of sight of operations to begin operating beyond the line of sight. Kevin, I don't mind saying, I find that slightly terrifying. I still want my helicopter to have a pilot. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I still want there to be a human being involved, and this just seems so dehumanising. Yeah, maybe that's just old-fashioned ways. Every innovation has always been thought in that way.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I mean, but it's just that the fact is that the technology is there. They're putting a lot. I mean, and we can't forget that Amazon as well are just one of the largest. The richest man in the world is the owner of Amazon, Jeff Bezos. And if they're behind this, putting the weight behind it, and they're not in the business of wasting money, when you have a power like Amazon pushing for something like this, really, it's hard to see how they will not get it there in the end.
Wow. Kevin, thank you. Kevin Curran sees all the possibilities of drone posties. Professor Curran there from the Ulster University. I don't know if I'm best pleased with that. Anyway, who cares what I feel? 712 665 22 is the number of this particular programme.